Old friend Mike Nadelman. We're always showing you new ways to troubleshoot and repair your computer. But what can you do when your monitor's on the blink? Well, Nadelman from Advanced Computer Solutions is here. He has his office right across the street, so he's a character on our show. We're glad to have you. And we will learn today about monitors, how to extend their lives, and how to really see a lot of good stuff. You're going to show us that these are really laden with a lot of electricity and we need to be careful. What is, the most common monitor problem?
Well, we get a lot of calls. Some of them are for missing pins on the cable. People break the pins off.
Sure.
Some monitors have 2 pins missing. Some of them have all the pins in there.
Can your monitor work if there's a couple pins broken or one?
Yeah, sure. There's a couple of pins that aren't really used.
Huh. Are you going to see a degradation in quality or it's just going to survive?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
The basic problems that we see with monitors, either they won't power up or they go into sleep mode perpetually, or they're out of focus, or there's one color that's a little bit off, or they're dim.
What kind of equipment do you use to test and troubleshoot? Well, what is the problem? How do I isolate it?
Well, we have a couple of different testers. One is a Syncor tester, which, of course, you can simulate this using your PC, but this works a little bit better than a PC because it'll test all kinds of monitors.
So this is sending a VGA signal out to the monitor?
It is sending a signal out, and we can change the type of the signal from color bars to text to grayscale, all kinds of stuff.
Can you do that again for us? And we'll see it on the monitor out here exactly how it's representing. So go ahead and change that, and you can see it. There's our color bars. Hold up. There's our color, our grayscale.
There's a little block.
Cool. Changes it slightly. What does this information tell you?
This gives you an idea of, in particular, of how the image is going to be seen when the user uses the monitor in particular types of pictures and images that they get.
So you can isolate, hey, it wasn't the graphics card, it's actually the monitor itself that's not displaying these color bars properly.
Exactly, you can confirm that. And we actually have a scaled down version of this machine in our front lobby, which anyone can bring a monitor in and test it, and we don't charge for that.
We don't talk a lot about troubleshooting monitors, considering how much help and how-to we do. We really don't do much with monitors because as a layman, you're pretty limited as to what you can do, right? I mean...
Well, if you could get inside your monitor, there are hazardous conditions in there. Cleanliness, is absolutely a necessity because the voltage is so high. Also, to take care of your monitor, you don't want to expose it to a lot of heat. You don't want to put stuff on top of it and block the ventilation. Putting it in front of the sun, sunlight. You want to always use a screensaver. And some other, real simple things are to do, or when you adjust your monitor, you don't want it to bloom. You don't want it to go beyond the border of the frame. You want to keep it within the border of the frame because when you bloom it, it stresses the monitor out. Also, when you turn off your monitor before you turn off your PC.
How come?
What happens is, again, it's stress. The signal goes to the monitor, and the monitor just goes wild with it. Sometimes you get rolling, and you have less stress that way.
I didn't know that. So there's a lot of things we're going to talk about in terms of what people can do at home, but first of all, shouldn't take the case off this yourself. This is not a do-at-home project because there's so much electricity in here. Can you show us what kind of voltage is in here?
Yeah, now, when I work on a monitor, and most people in this business do, they usually keep one hand behind their back. And the reason for that is so that you don't pass the circuit right through you if you do get shocked.
So if you have both hands on this thing, you're a closed circuit.
Yes, and you could get electrocuted.
So you got one hand back here, one foot off the ground. You got one eye closed? No.
Well, the other big problem is, of course, the reaction. Even if you have just one hand and you get shocked, the reaction of jerking your arm back might cause you to rip open your arm on some metal parts or something else. So you want to be really careful.
Well, Mike, you go right ahead there and show us the voltage. I'm going to step away from the computer. Now, so there's going to be a big spark that comes out right there, right?
Well, what we do with this instrument is actually check the voltage of the high voltage. And we can see that it's probably about 28,000 volts. And
that's a lot, right?
That's quite a bit. If we can kind of demonstrate. That's a pretty good sized spark there.
Wow.
And it will, in this case, this monitor has a protection circuit, and a lot of the newer monitors do.
You can smell it.
That prevent ozone.
Wow, this is definitely not something to do at home.
You don't need an ozone generator if you have a monitor.
That could be really dangerous. I can see what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Man.
they are. It's pretty. Now, ironically, this is the part where you want to clean the most, and this cable. This is the flyback transformer. This is what develops all the signal. It's also the part that someone here in the back asked me about noise coming out of their monitor. That's what produces all the noise because it's ringing at a high frequency, and the glue has actually come loose on the flyback.
Well, you know, a big issue is, as we said, folks shouldn't be doing this at home. They should be making the decision, do I take this in to a professional to repair, or do I give up on this monitor? What are the criteria to decide repair or replace?
Well, if it's a good monitor, and I would say, you know, these days over 15 inches,
Yeah.
and if it's got special characteristics, like it's got BNC cables that go to your special graphics card, very high resolution. If the monitor looked good when it was running, then that's a criteria. If it's a 21-inch monitor, probably worth fixing.
I think those are really worth reviewing. So you said, we have a full screen, I think, that goes with this. Is it a special high-resolution monitor? That's the #1 criteria. Number 2, did it have a good image in the first place? Is it, you said 15 plus, but even 19 inches nowadays, as prices have come down on monitors, you might want to consider 19 inches and up as worth replacing, or excuse me, is worth repairing. And then is it less than 4 years old? Those are 4 really good points. I think those are really well taken.
Does it have, you know, does it have screen burn? Did it have screen burn on it before?
What can you do quickly to extend the life of your existing monitor?
Again, you know, keep the frame within the picture. Use a screensaver.
Turn it off before you
Yeah.
turn off your computer.
You don't need to over-tighten the cables. We find a lot of people that on their PCs all the buttons are missing because they've cranked them down thinking that was the problem. Usually the best thing is just leave it loose and just maybe 1/2 turn or something like that. That's plenty of connection.
And be careful when you're putting those VGA cables in, because it's attached to your monitor, and if you screw up a pin,
Don't plug it into a serial or RGB cable connector because you're going to bend the pins.
All right, Mike, well, thank you so much. Mike Nadelman of Advanced Computer Solutions, right across the street from us. For more tips on how to extend the life of your monitor, as well as a link to a free monitor testing program, check out Mike's article. It's at techtv.com/call-for-help. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at a program that'll let you change your Windows startup and shutdown screens. It's got some odd images, but you can change those out. It's all when Call for Help continues. Stick around. Thanks, Mike.